Okay, we are back for the afternoon session for Campus Contact. And in this class, we're going to get a little bit more involved. And we're going to talk about adding content to the site. We're going to add columns and rows and sections and widgets and all the fun stuff. So we're going to dive right in. So remember when you're at campuscontact.com. Here we go. Can't type now. So we talked briefly about support on campuscontact.com. Remember, there is no live chat within your website now. So when you need to get a hold of us, you can click the help link at the top, and that will take you to our knowledge base page. But if you need to reach us for any reason, go to campuscontact.com, click on the little bubble down here at the bottom left, and enter your information and start up a chat with us. We'll be glad to help you out with whatever you need, or go to campuscontact.com/support. And from here, you can, again, search the knowledge base, get all kinds of information for you, or just ask us any questions that you might have, or submit a trouble ticket to us as well. So the trouble ticket page does take a second to load here, and it does work. So be patient. We're going to be making some changes to that later as well. So remember to, when you want to manage your website, there is no login link at the bottom anymore. So that if you're going to make admin changes to your website, you have to go to admin.campuscontact.com to log into your new website. There's not a login at the footer anymore. We hid that because the kids were just beating it up. And so now we hid it completely. So I'm going to log into our new website over here. And now we are back in our website, and I can click on edit to go back into it from my dashboard. And away we go. So we are now at our new website. We covered all the stuff at the top this morning. We went down all the buttons down the side. We talked just briefly about how to add pages and adding widgets. And that's really the bulk of what we're going to do today in this second session, is adding more pages. We're going to add some template pages. We're also going to add some widgets, all kinds of widgets to our page. So let's start with pages. And for that, I'm just going to clean up my pages because I've got a few too many here left over from this morning's session. And I apologize, I am running a little late. All right, so let's get rid of some of these. All right, well, that's enough. So we're going to add the three types of pages that you're going to mainly add. One will be just a blank page. The other will be a page URL. And the other will be a folder page, which, remember, is just a hierarchy kind of page. So we're going to add those three pages now. So to add a page, again, we go to Pages on the left, click on Add a New Page, and then we just add our page type. So we can just click on Blank Page, or if we want to utilize any of the existing templates, we can click on those too and add a page of that type. But for now, let's just add a blank page. Let's just leave it as blank page. That's a good name for it. And click Add. And so now here's my brand new blank page. And from here, I can start adding some content to it. I'm not going to do that yet because we're going to add a few more pages. So there's our blank page. We see it at the top there. So let's go add another blank or another type of page. Go back to Pages, Add New Page, and let's add a page URL. So again, this could be a type of page that might go to your student information system. So we'll call this, I don't know, how about PowerSchool? And that one, of course, would link to www.powerschool.com. And so now we've got our PowerSchool page here. Let's go test that. Again, to test a link, you need to be in the preview mode, and you do that at the top. Click on Preview. Now we can click on our page, our PowerSchool page, and we get this little pop-up. And we're only seeing this pop-up because we're logged in as an administrator. When you push this content live, of course, the real world's not going to see that, but it just does you a favor and says, oh, hey, by the way, this is an external link. Do you want to open it? Sure. If you click it, it'll open up to powerschool.com, and there's PowerSchool. There it is. So it works. And again, if you just click it, you can just click it, say, ah, got it, or just leave it alone, and it'll just time out in about 3 seconds and go away on its own. So now we've got a blank page. We've got a PowerSchool page. Let's go back and add another kind of page. Go back into the editor. And now we're going to add what we call a folder page. So remember, this folder page is really just like a placeholder. So let's say we want to do a page called departments. So you might have in your school, you might have a whole bunch of departments. So we'll add a departments folder page, and then we'll add pages for each of those departments. So now I'll add a blank page for athletics. I'll add another one for band, because I am a band nerd. And because I'm a real nerd, I'm also an ROTC junkie too, so we'll add that in there. And so now we've got 3 department pages. So now to put those under our departments, we just simply drag them to the right, under departments. And they are now under the departments page. And we can see that in our navigation over here at the right. If we mouse over departments, we see all of the athletics, band, and ROTC. So let's go to it in preview mode to see the real difference in that departments is not a clickable page. I can go to the home page, I can go to all the other pages, but I cannot click on departments because it's not a real page. It's just a placeholder. It's a folder page. And under that are my other actual pages that have content. Very much the same, in fact, exactly the same as our schools drop down. Again, schools is not an actual functional page. It's just a placeholder for links to all of our other schools. So that's another example of a folder page. And of course, we have our blank page. We have our PowerSchool page that jumps out. And now we have our folder page. So those are really the 3 main types of pages that you're going to make. So now let's try some of the template pages. So let's do a Contact Us page. So I'll click New Page. Let's click on Contact Us. And we'll just leave it as Contact Us, but you don't have to leave it as that name. You can change the name if you want. You can either change it now while you're creating it, or you can always change the name later by just clicking that little icon, the gear icon, to the right of any page name. So I'll click Add Page. Here's my new Contact Us page. And because it's already using the template, all I have to do is update the pictures and the verbiage on it to make it my own. So let's get rid of this guy. And maybe we'll put a school. There we go. There's a little school building for us. And I can change Contact Us to Contact Our School, I don't know, main office, or whatever we want to put there. And we can even change the text here. Just click on it and say, our school is awesome. Come see us. So you can see that in just a few seconds, all I have to do is change the words, change the photo, and now it's mine. So come down here on my map. Again, all I've got to do is just change what's in there initially to whatever I want it to be. Whatever your address is. Yes, there is actually a 1234 Main Street, in case you were wondering. It's actually in Ontario, Canada. And if that was my address, it'd be done. And then, of course, just change some of these other things over here for, the contact information and such. So, and just like that, I've created a really nice looking Contact Us page by using one of our existing templated pages, and it looks awesome. So let's go back to the editor and add some more stuff. So I've added a blank page, a URL page, a department page, which is really a folder page or a placeholder with some pages underneath that. And now I've added a Contact Us page using our templates. So that's pretty much everything in Pages. Blank page, page URL, folder page, and then I created one using these things. So you can always come back in and modify your template page that you made. Later you can do whatever you want with that. But that's really all there is to it. So it's super, super simple to add new pages to your site. So let's jump over to our blank page and start adding some content to our page. So we have a brand new blank page, and a blank page is exactly that. There's no columns, there's no anything added to it. There's no content of any kind. However, there is always one blank row created for your site by default on any page. And you can see that if you mouse over kind of the area, you'll see that it highlights a row, and rows go horizontally across your website, and columns, of course, are vertical. And in a website, you want to kind of treat it as a table. So we can have as many rows vertically as you want. They'll just stack on top of each other. And then you can have as many horizontal, vertical columns as you want, actually up to 4 columns in any row. And the columns can be any size width that you want. Like I said, you can have as many up to 4 as you want. So by default, we have 1 row with 1 empty column. If we want to add another row to it, when you mouse over it, you get this little blue row tag on the left here. You can click on that, and you can add another row by mousing over Add, click Row Above, and it will add another row. Now you can see we've got 2 rows. I want to add another one. Just click on it again, add Row Above, and now I've got 3 rows. And you can add as many rows as you think you're going to need. Oh, row above, and now add another row. So now I'm down up to 4. So you can add as many rows as you want, or if you've added too many, just click on that little blue thing again and go down to delete and remove the row that you don't need. So don't worry about adding too many. You can always delete them later, or just add as many as you want. Now you can see that there's some other options here for us under add. We're going to cover those later. We can not only just add a row, we can add sections, and we can also add columns, which is what we're going to do next. So all of our rows are vertical, or stacked up vertically, I'm sorry, but they're full width horizontal. Pardon me, it's saying our internet access is some kind of problem. Interesting. Okay. All right. 1 second. I think there's a question about. Okay. All right. So let's continue. So we've got our horizontal rows. Let's add some vertical columns. So to add a column, all you need to do is mouse over a row and right click in a blank area. Not in the gray area, but off to the right of it. We're going to right click and go to add, just like we added a row above, but instead we're now going to add a column to our row by going over add and column. So that's going to add a column. So now we have 2 columns in this row. Our other rows only had 1. If I right click in a blank area again, I can go to add column, and now I've got 3. And it will equally size the columns. The first, when I had 2 of them, of course, they were 50-50. Now I've got 3, so they're going to be 33 1/3. And if I right click again, add another column, they'll all be 25% or a quarter of the width. And so we can add some content to these rows. Now don't worry about the width yet, because we can change how wide these rows are, or these columns, by mousing over them. And if you put your mouse between any 2 columns, you'll get this little blue bar that pops up. That little blue bar allows you to resize the column by clicking it and dragging it left or right and changing the width of the column. So if I want the left column little skinny and that column wide, and maybe this column skinny and that column wide, all I have to do is drag them around and change the width of them to make them as wide or narrow as I want them to be. If you find you have too many columns, just click the little X there, get rid of one of them, and resize them to whatever size you want. So it's really nice that you can change the size. And initially, you don't even know what the size is going to be, probably, because we don't have any content in it yet. So we're going to add some widgets to it in just a second. But the real important thing is to know that you can add as many rows as you want and as many columns, actually up to 4 columns, just by right-clicking and going to add and add a new column. So that's going to be really important, because this is where you're going to add all of your widgets. So we've got our columns, we've got our rows. Let's add some widgets to these columns. So we talked about widgets earlier, and these are all the what do you want to do on your site? Text and images and calendars and links and icons and buttons and forms and all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of different widgets in here for you to use. And so to use any of these, all you have to do is simply drag them, click it, and drag it out to your row and in your column, whichever column you want. Don't worry about it, because we can move it later. But I'm just going to drag it right there and say, this is my new text. And we're done. So I've added some text there. I want to add another widget. Let's say I want to grab, how about a calendar? Let's grab that and put it out there. We'll put it on the left side. And a lot of these widgets, when you add them, they immediately pop up so that you can start adding some content to it. And you'll see my calendar now is there, and it's kind of squishy, so we might have to drag it, make these columns a little wider, but we'll do that in a minute. Let's add some more widgets to it. Go back to widgets, and how about I add an image? I'll just drag that out there. And just like the other one, it's going to pop and want you to put something there, so I'll just select a bus. And let's go grab another widget. How about links? And just drag it out to the last one. And like the others, it wants me to add some stuff to it, so these are my links. And I can add some links to it in a second. We'll come back and add some links here in a minute. But now we've got 4 widgets on the page, and we might say it's looking a little wonky. We want to move stuff around. So if you want to put your text over here on the other side where your links are, just simply drag it across to that column, and you can move stuff around. Now we can even get rid of this column because it's kind of squishing up our calendar, and we can even move things around to balance it all out so that it looks better on our page. All we have to do is just drag stuff around until we're happy with it. Now we can drag the columns left or right, but we can also drag rows up or down. So my calendar is kind of chopped off here. Oh, calendar is chopped off. So let's make this row a little bigger. Just like we did for columns, you put your mouse between any 2 columns and you drag that blue bar. We can do the same with rows vertically. So I put my cursor between any 2 rows, and I can drag that column bigger, which then allows me to go back and drag the calendar bigger. And some of these widgets, especially the calendar mainly, it's kind of challenging sometimes. You may have to refresh to actually see the change. So there we go. So now my calendar is wider and taller, and I can drag it down a little bit more. Let's make it a little wider. So now I can see the full calendar. There you go. Now I can see all of my calendar, and it's not being cut off anymore. And I can see my photos over there. If I wanted it wider, all I have to do is drag it, and or these columns, and drag them around. So we know we can add widgets by just grabbing them from the left side, but there's even an easier way, which is what I like to do, and that is to right-click in any blank area within any column. And when you right-click in a column, you can go to the Add option again. Yeah, there's lots of other items we can do as well. I'm going to ignore all of these others for now and just go right to the Add. So with me right-clicking in a column, I can go to Add another widget below. And from here, I can add a text, more text like I did earlier. I can add another image like this one, or I can add a button or an icon, or if the widget I want to add isn't there, I can click on More Widgets, and I can come in here and see them all in there and just add any widget I want right here. So let's just add something new. Let's add a table, just some kind of table. All right, so now we've got a table. Maybe my table doesn't look good. Like everything else, we can just move it around. Tables are kind of wide, so let's drag it over here to the other side. And kind of like you would in PowerPoint, you can move things around vertically or horizontally and just drag them around however wide you want. Now you can see I've made my table look better. Over on the right-hand side, things aren't lining up anymore, so all I have to do is grab it and drag it up, and make everything line up. On the right side, my text is too close to my links, so I can mouse over it and drag it down, add some more space to it. Same with my calendar. If it's my table and my calendar are getting too close, I can drag those up and down within that column and line everything up nice and neat. So it's really nice that we can resize things. You can adjust things. Everything's drag and drop and resize stuff however you see fit, just by clicking on it and dragging it around. So it's really, really easy to manage. So let's go manage some of these other things. We talked about text earlier today, and when you click on any just plain text, this is your text editor where you can change the bold, italics, underline, colors, font sizes, font styles, alignment, all the other fun stuff, and then font. So that's nice and easy. One thing we didn't dig into too much was the linking function. So I'm going to get into that because we also have a links widget below, and I want to show you the difference between two different things with links. And only because I got a lot of questions about links in last week's training, actually after last week's training, about managing links. So let's talk about some links. So I'm going to do a link in regular text, and then I'm going to use the actual links widget. So you can kind of see the difference. And it's really a matter of personal choice as to how you want to do your links, but at least you have multiple options of doing links to pages, files, and other websites, whatever you want. So let's do some kind of links. So the first one I'll do, let's do this is a link to a page on my site. So here's a link to a page on my site, and to link, all I have to do is highlight it, click the link icon, and I get this pop-up with all the different kinds of links. So if I want to link to a page on my site, here's existing page, and here's all the pages within my site already. I can just link it right to school calendar or wherever I want to link it to. If I want to link it to a website, or select a website URL, add the website in there, and by default, it is set to open in a new window. And that's really the default you want to leave it at all the time in order for your site to remain ADA compliant. So we have that checked for you by default. If you're linking within your website, it does not need to open in a new window. So that would be up here on your existing page, and it does not open in a new window. But if you're going to link to a new URL like PowerSchool or somewhere else, you would add that URL in here and leave the checkbox checked so that it will open in a new window. As we talked about earlier, we can also link to a pop-up. We can link to an anchor link in your website. We can link directly to an item in your store, in your school store. We can link to an email address. We can link to call, so people can actually just click a button to call you on the site. Or we can link to a file for download. I click on File for Download and going to find that file. I think it's called ABC. Here it is. Yeah, so there's my link for file. So in this case, let's link this to a page like it says there in my verbiage. This is a link to a page of my site, and we'll link to the school calendar. And there's a link to our calendar. Let's add a few more links. This is a link to Google. This is a link to a document. And this is a link to an email address. So here's our 4 kinds of links, and we can quickly just highlight them, select a link, website URL, google.com, and away we go. Link to a document, again, we'll just highlight it, click on the link icon. This is going to link to a document down at the bottom. And my document is called ABC. So, of course, if you don't know what your document's called, just type in .pdf, and there's all your documents. Or if you kind of know what it's called, if it's something that begins with a B, let's see. I don't know what else is in here. I don't know. Here we go. Here's AC. So accessibility certification. How about that? We'll link to that. So it's a really nice, very quick document finder. And last is an email address. So I'll highlight that and click link, and we'll link that to an email address. So now we've got our 4 kinds of links. One of the nice things about using the text widget for links is that we can style it a little bit by highlighting it all and clicking the bullets, and now we can add some bullets, and now it looks kind of nice. So that's how we do links with just the regular text widget. Again, that's over here on widgets and text, or just right click anywhere in a blank area and go to add widget below and select text, and it's the same thing. So that's just adding direct links in a text. Let's use the actual links widget. To do this, I actually dragged the links widget from the side out to the page, or I could have right clicked and gone to add new in any widget. But so here's my links. I'm going to go add some links. So this one's a little bit different, and this is really more how most of the widgets in the site work. Whenever you click on a widget, you'll get a little pop-up where you can then add content to that widget. In this case, I want to add links, so all I have to do is click on a blank one and say a page in my site. grab an existing page. We'll do it just like we did the other one. You can see it works very much the same as the other one. On the left-hand side, I can go back and add a new link and say, link to Google. Google. You do have to spell it right. There's my link to Google. And I'll add another link. This one will be a link to a document. In this case, I'm just going to click on File for Download and my ABC, whatever that was called, my document. And last but not least, we'll add a link to an email. And this one, I'll select email address. So now we've got our links. So the difference is that one is styled by you and the other is styled by the widget. So you may find that you don't really like the way the widget's styled. You kind of like it the way that one's styled. That's totally up to you, and you have multiple options of doing things. So if you want to just add links yourself, by all means, add a text widget, add your links, highlight them, link them to where you need. Or if you want to use the links widget, you can certainly do that. Just add the links widget to the page and manage your links. Either way, if you want to go back and add more or update anything, just simply click on it, change the link you want or the text you want by typing it. If you want to change a link, highlight the one that needs to be changed, click your link again, and change it to wherever else it needs to go. So both of them are very simple to update, and they do the exact same thing. The difference is just a matter of styling. Now, real briefly, I'm going to touch on style and design, and we actually have a whole other class on just design. If you look through our classes, the pre-recorded classes at campuscontact.com/training, I have an entire 2-hour session dedicated to just design. But just want to let you know that there are design options for every single widget, and there's lots of them. So, for example, if you like the way the top links are styled, but you like the ease of use of the actual links widget, but it just doesn't look right, you've got some options to change the way things look. And you can change the way every widget looks just by right-clicking on it and going to Design in the pop-up. Every widget has an option for Edit Design. The tables, you want to edit the table design, click Edit Design, and there's all kinds of options. You want to change the way the calendar looks, right-click on it, click on Edit Design, and change all kinds of stuff about your calendar. In this case, if we want to change the way the links look, right-click on it, go to Edit Design, and now I can change text style, font sizes, buttons, button text. This is button text. This is link text. I maybe want to make that orange or red, whatever I want to do with it. We'll make it kind of like the other one. We'll find a color close to that other one. There we go. So now it's looking kind of like the old one, the other one. So we can make it look pretty similar to the other one by going to the style and kind of changing it ourselves. So we can do a lot of stuff with it. So this design option, by right-clicking any widget, allows you to do a lot of different things, and it's slightly different depending on which widget you're checking on. But there are a lot of design options for everything. Again, just right-click, go to Edit Design, and you'll find that there's lots of options for you to change the styling. For example, I right-clicked on an image. I can make the image round or oval. Let's see, I can make it kind of rounded with a border maybe. I can change the color of the border. I can round the corners any way I want. Maybe make it really oval, really rounded, whatever you want. We'll make it a little oval. We can add shadows to it. How about a bright pink shadow on our orange? That's hideous. We can right-click and go to Edit Design again. We can even effects for mouse over. What's going to happen when they mouse over it? In this case, we'll make it go big or maybe go black and white or something like that. Yeah, so you can see there's lots of design options I'm going to preview mode. Now you can see how ugly I made that, but at least it's real easy to do that. So you can change a whole lot of things by right-clicking on any widget. Again, I didn't want to bog down into design, but just know that right-click on any widget, go into Edit Design, and there's a ton of stuff you can do with all of them in terms of the font styles, the colors, the mouse over effects. They all got lots of different designs or options. So we talked about columns. We talked about rows. Let's talk about moving stuff around between the different rows. My stuff is getting kind of clogged up here. So just like we were able to move stuff from one column to another column, we can move things from one row to another row. If I decide I want my calendar in its own row, I can drag it down from where it was earlier. It was right up here. Oops. It was in the same column as my table. Now I moved it down to its own row. And because it's in its own row, I can now make it much wider. You can go full width now. Of course, you could have moved the calendar down as well if you want to make it, I'm sorry, the table. You want to make it wide too? Go right ahead. Drag it down on its own. Maybe move them apart a little bit. You can see we can move things around any way we want and shuffle it all around however we see fit. We've got a lot of options in terms of moving and aligning things. So that's definitely something we did not have in the old system that allows you complete design freedom in terms of layout and how and where you're going to put your content. Very easy for you to move stuff around. Hang on one second. I actually had a very detailed outline that literally got chewed up by the dog. So bear with me. I'm going to see if I can revise this. So sorry. All right. I hate messing up in a big when I'm being recorded, but it is what it is. So we'll keep on going. So we've added pages, we've added columns, we've added rows. We talked briefly about design. While I'm talking about design, we can also design columns and rows individually as well, just by right-clicking on a blank area. In this case, I can edit the design. And you can tell if you're on a column or a row. When you right-click it, it'll actually tell you in that box. In this case, I'm column. If I wanted to right-click the row, I would right-click over here somewhere and edit. And you see now it's the actual row. So you can tell which one you're editing by just right-click and look in the header of the pop-up. And that'll tell you what you're editing. In this case, I want to edit the row. Just like the widget, I can change the row design by adding a color maybe. Make it a little bright and pretty. How about that? And we can add borders to it again. Love that bright pink, so let's throw that in there. And so now we've got, oh, can't really see it, let's make it bigger. So now we've changed the row styling. Now there's some other nice styling actually on the row. If you go to row, edit design, we can even add images as background. Right here where we're changing our color, we have the option to add an image to the background. Maybe I want to put that little dog in there. Sure, why not? Probably doesn't look great. If we want to change it, we can select it again and add something a little bit more schoolsy. How about that? So here's a little image we added to it. We could even change make it like a little overlay on it. You can do a lot of different things with images. You can also add video in the background. All video in the new sites is done at YouTube or Vimeo. So those are your two options for videos now. We no longer upload videos directly to the website. You instead have to go to YouTube or Vimeo and create an account or a channel. It is totally free. And from there, you'll upload your videos to YouTube or Vimeo and then paste the link into your website wherever you're going to use it. So we're not going to do that now, but just know that you can add videos to your website directly from YouTube or Vimeo quickly and easily as well. So, but I just wanted to show you real quick how we can manage the rows and change the way they look. Likewise, we can do that in columns. Oh, that's the calendar we want to do. And sorry, back into rows. Let's do the entire column design. And we'll just change this color to green. So there's our column. My table's a little big, so I'll just pull it down a little bit. Now you can see, so the difference is, of course, my row goes horizontally full width. My column is as tall as I want it to be. my column in this case is green, but it's on a white row. I want to change that row again, go back to right click on it, go to edit design, and that can be, we'll make that light blue. So we can quickly change the color of the whole site and make things kind of wonky or pretty, depending on your opinion, just by right-clicking anywhere in the site, either in a blank space for a row or a blank space for a column, or right-click on any widget and go to Edit Design. So let's add a few more widgets. We've got a whole bunch of stuff to our site. Let's add some more widgets. If we find that we're running out of page space, all we have to do is click on row, this time left click, and go to Add and row above, and we can add as many rows as we want, just so that we have more space. Now I added a whole bunch of rows, so we can continue to add more stuff to our site. If we find that we're running out of space, or actually if we find that we've added too many, we can simply click on row again and go to delete and get rid of that blank row. Now, while I'm thinking about delete, if you delete something that you want, let's go to this row here and delete it, and you go, I didn't want to delete that. Don't worry about it. Remember, we've got the undo button at the very top, and we can undo up to 100 steps back, so don't worry about it. And if you find that you've just totally blown up your site and you just can't figure out what all you've done wrong, or backtrack all your changes, remember that you can go to Settings in the bottom left. You can go to Backup Site, and then you can restore it from any previous version. So just nice to know that you've got multiple options to undo anything that you do. Actually, I'm running out of time. I want to get to sections. All right, we're going to do, and I'm so sorry for the delay here, guys. My agenda got destroyed. All right, let's jump over to sections. So we talked earlier about pages and how pages have the little templates. We've got other templates all over the site for you to add all kinds of different kinds of content. So normally when you're adding stuff to your website, it's a three-step process. You add a page to your site, you add widgets to that page, and then you add content in that widget, whether it's links or photos or calendars or whatever content. So it's all really a three-step process. Add a page, add a widget to the page, and add content to that widget. And then if you want to take it the fourth step by doing some styling, you can certainly do that as well by going in, right-click on any of them, and edit the design for any of them. Before I jump over to sections, while I'm talking about design, we can also manage the animation. And this is something kind of fun that a lot of people are really enjoying, and that you can right-click on any item in the site, whether it's a column, row, or any widget, and you can also make them appear on the page with animation. It looks kind of fun. So for example, let's take our photo of our bus here. Let's make it appear from the left. If I right-click on it and go to Entrance Animation and say Fade in from the left, it'll slide in from the left. I'll take these are my links title, and I'll animation, and let's do from the bottom. So now I have those slide up from the bottom, and we'll right-click on this one and have it slide in from the right. So now if we go to preview and refresh, we'll see that, well, everything slid all over the place. And maybe it's a little too much from an animation standpoint, but you kind of get the idea. We can right-click on anything and have it just slide in, scroll in, bounce in, spin in, all kind of fun stuff. So that's kind of neat. That's kind of fun. So going back to adding content to your site. So while you can generally certainly go to create different rows, different columns, add widgets to all those columns, we also have a shortcut method that I really love, and this is the best thing in the world for me, and this is called sections. So sections are pre-designed groups of widgets and just a combination of things with graphics and all kinds of functionality already built in that you don't really have to configure much. So to get to these sections, mouse over any row and between any two rows. So if I put my mouse right between the two rows, kind of toward the middle of them, I see a little blue plus up here in the middle. You click on that little blue plus and you can add a section. Just click on Add Section. And so here we can get to all of the really cool, fun stuff that we call sections. So whether you want to add something really kind of cool like this with a little timer, all of the sections are collections of widgets. So in this case, the background's already styled. It's got a photo. It's got a text widget here, another text widget for some smaller text. It's got a countdown timer on another widget with some buttons and a form already built in. So it's a big group of already professionally styled widgets all combined to be one full section. If you want to add some stuff with some buttons, all of these things are really easy to change. All you have to do is simply click on them, change out the photos and change out the words, and make it your own for whatever your use case is going to be. So we want to do something maybe about features, maybe some features about what you guys do in your department. Lots of different ways we can talk about features or some different things you guys are doing in your schools. Maybe something about us. Well, we can do an about us page, who we are. Maybe something about each specific person in your department. We can change some different styling. So you see there's lots of different options. You want to do some logos or maybe some text blocks, and you want to put text on a photo in the background, or maybe a couple of nicely styled paragraphs with a big bold section on the side. Or maybe you want to do some tabs, and tabs are very cool because they allow you to put a lot of information in a very small area and really keep it neatly designed. We can do text and images, so we can add all kinds of fun stuff here. So let's just grab one and go with it. So let's say I really like this one here, all I have to do is click save, and now go back in and make it my own. Maybe I don't want that. I want to change the background to back to my dog, and change the verbiage. My new section title on my school website. Change the different text to whatever you want them to be by simply clicking on them. And you can see real quickly we can build out the whole page just with sections, and they're beautifully styled. We go back, mouse over it, right between the two rows, click on Add Section. Let's go back and add some more. And we're going to add something about our team. Maybe you're going to do like a team portfolio page. Of course, you can add as many of these as you want. So if you've got 50 people in your group or in your school, you want to add them all, you like the way this looks, just add this to the page as many times as you want, and then go back in and change the photos. Maybe a different style might be better for you. Maybe a smaller school, or you want to just do the principal and assistant principal and whoever else, maybe some counselors, whatever it is you want to do. Maybe you're the technology team and you want to look high tech. There you go. There's ways to do that. So lots of different things we can do for your team, different styles. There's even a restaurant option, but I have seen schools use this for their cafeterias. Really not so much a restaurant, but very similar to it. Maybe you want to do testimonials from your parents, maybe a different kind of contact us page. Again, all you have to do is select one that you like, click save, go back in and click on it to change the photo. Let's add my bus again. How about that? And click on it to change another photo. Let's do a bigger bus. And maybe sign up for the bus schedule, whatever it is. So we make it our own, and now we've got our little bus schedule sign up form. So you can see that we can quickly make some really nice looking sections for the site, and technically you can actually build out your entire site without ever adding a blank widget again. Anything that you think you're going to add a blank widget for, you can probably just go and add a section for it instead and just build it out beautifully that way, and never add a blank widget. Add an already styled widget that has all the information you need. If you're looking at the sections, there's actually an up and down arrow here where you can click to see more. So make sure you click on that and you'll see that there's more in there. You want to do something with galleries. Maybe you're going to do some kind of promotion. We're going to do a school something. Here we are. something going on at the school, maybe some FAQs. What about the different departments and whatever about your school? Lots of FAQs. Change some pricing plans for whatever it is. Something social related. We can add social icons. So it's really neat that we can do all kinds of stuff again without ever even adding a single widget, a single blank widget by itself. Not only can we do that for full sections, we can do entire pages. So if we want to do an About Us page, here's a whole page. It's already built out for you. Got a header photo. It's got some intro information, some other photos, some things you can change on it just to build out an entire page. Again, you just simply add it to the page, change the photos, change the text, and you're off and running. So the entire page option is really cool. And we're always adding new ones. I'd say 2 or 3 a month at least. So just, you know, as you're adding sections, take a look around and you might find that there's lots more sections being added. The footer can also be changed. However, that's actually part of the global design for most of you. So I would recommend that before you go change your footer area, check with your schools to see, or actually with your school district administrator, just to make sure that they didn't want a uniform design style for the footer. If you try to make a change in the footer and it says you're not allowed, that's because we've actually locked you out of the footer so you can't change it. So some of you may find that to be the situation. So let's go back here. Let's go add some testimonials. Again, all we have to do is add it, click save, and we're done. So again, the sections are really, really powerful. They can really save you a tremendous amount of time and can make your life a whole lot easier, and you can build out the entire site by just adding sections. So I want to open it up real quick. I know I'm covering a lot of stuff real quickly. We are also in the process of adding more short videos for all kinds of things at campuscontact.com/training, which is again where you'll find the videos for all of the training classes that we've done so far, including this morning's training that we did this morning. And this one will, of course, be there as well. But below that, I'm trying to get it today, but it looks like it may be tomorrow or even Friday before I get it there. But you'll find a collection of short videos on how to do all kinds of things, and we'll eventually have a complete library of instructional videos for every single widget. So that's going to take a little while, but it's coming. In the meantime, let me open this up real quick. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. Mr. Warren, I see you're still out there. Did you have any questions for me at this point?
Rob, no questions. Just kind of enjoying the session here, getting a lot of ideas from you. Sure. So no questions right now, but did get quite a few ideas on some things I want to try.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, if you need any help at all, hit us up anytime, campuscontact.com. Click on the little speech bubble down here at the bottom, or go to the support page and hit us up anytime for anything that comes up.
Of course, of course.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you joining us. And anything else you can think of, just let me know. We're always here for you.
Will do.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
All right, so that is it for today for the high-level overview. And if there are any other questions, always come back to campuscontact.com, click on the little speech and little bubble at the bottom left, and we're here for you. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.